as you saw when we tried to create a date, so local date of, in here, if I scroll down, we have now, and we also have now with clock, and then now with zone ID. Now, what is this zone ID? Well, let's say that you want to know the time in Australia, for example. So here I'm going to say zone ID because I want to show you the available zone IDs. So zone ID, it's a class dot and then get available zone IDs. So this gives me a set of zones, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a for each. So I'm going to say for, and this will be, I think, what's the return type for this? This is strings, right? So I'm going to say string and then zone colon and then loop through the zones like this. And now let me just say south and then zone. If I run this, you can see that we have a bunch of zones. Have a look. Asia, Tokyo, Asia, Amman, Europe, America. So we've got a bunch of zones in here. So Asia, Hong Kong, Africa, Jamaica. So you can see that we have all possible zones in here. So I said Australia, right? So let's just have a look if we can search for Australia. So I'm just going to press Command F and then search for Australia. There we go. Australia, Sydney. Let's just take this. Command C. And now, if I want to find out the date in there, I can just say zone. I can just say local date time dot and then pass the zone. So the zone will be zone ID of, and then we can pass the zone ID string, which we've just copied. So this, Australia, Sydney. So if I extract this to a variable, now in Sydney, there we go. And let me just put this on a new line so you can see everything. And also I want to say local date time dot now, so you see the time right now where I'm recording this video from. So just before we print, I'm going to say local, or actually south now, and now in Australia as well. So south now in Sydney. There we go. If I run this and scroll all the way to the top, have a look. So this is the time currently in London right here, and then in Sydney, check this out. So in Sydney right now, it's 9:48 in the evening. So you can see that it's way ahead of us. So if you have family that lives in Sydney, then you should know that their time is a little bit different than ours, right? So they are on the other side of the world if you are in Europe, for example. But you can see that this is how we can get a specific date and time in another zone. So this is it, to be honest. So you can see that it's not difficult. So you need to know the available zones, and you can get them by running this piece of code, and then you can use the now and then pass the actual zone that you are interested, and then from there on the date will work the exact same thing. So you can have all the methods, so get day, get month, you can add years, add days, subtract, so on and so forth. So for now, catch me on the next one.